Hello, welcome to this session on getting started with databases. In this introductory session, you are going to see how to use Amazon Relational Database Service, popularly known as RDS, to create MySQL database instance. So let's get started. You are on the AWS Management Console. On the console, to go to RDS, just type in and choose RDS. Choose Create Database. Now, on the Create Database menu, for this demo, we are going to choose Easy Create method. This method defaults a lot of configuration parameters and you have to configure only few of them. So this is a quicker way of configuring the database. Next, choose MySQL as the engine, and for the database instance size, choose free tier. This provides a db.t3.micro database instance which has 2 virtual CPUs, 1 GB of RAM and 20 GB of storage. You can configure the database identifier or the database name here. I am going to keep it at DemoDB. This will be the part of the database host string or the DNS name which it creates when we create the database. Master username could be left at admin, or you can choose a different one. I am going to leave it at admin, and you could enter the database password for admin user. I am going to leave it as auto generated. Okay. Next, let's look at the default settings for Easy Create method. There are various configuration parameters which are having the default values. Let's quickly go through them one by one. Encryption is enabled for this installation. You cannot change it once it is created. It also means that whatever you store in this database will be encrypted. This is a VPC only service, so you need VPC for creating the database and placing it into the network. So the service has chosen default VPC available in this account. It also cannot be changed later. Option groups which are associated with database, in this case MySQL 8.0, that's the option group which is associated with this database, and you can use option group to integrate the third-party utilities for your database. For example, you can, if you want to integrate some auditing utilities for MySQL or Maria, you can do that. The subnet groups is going to get created here. Subnet group is basically a logical grouping of the subnets which are part of your VPC. So when a database is placed in the VPC, it is actually placed in the subnets, right? And the logical grouping of those subnets is a subnet group for the database. Automatic backups are enabled. You can edit those later. VPC security group, which is the firewall for this database instance, it is also defaulted. It is not publicly accessible, so public accessible is kept at no, which is adhering to the best practices. The port hasn't been changed, so 3306 remains the port. The database identifier we have provided, which is demo.db. The engine version, it was displayed that the major version which is being chosen is 8.0. So whatever the latest version available at the time is provided. Today it is 8.0.28. Parameter group. So every database has a group of parameters, associated with the database installation. So here it has defaulted to MySQL 8.0, which contains database, operational parameters such as, whether you want to turn on the replication, whether you want to configure binlog, whether you want to adjust the InnoDB configuration or maximum connections to the database, so on and so forth. Performance insights and monitoring. These are two services or features which are required for monitoring the health of the database as well as looking at the queries from the tuning perspective. So those two features are also enabled. Every database installation comes with a maintenance window associated with it, and RDS service performs the maintenance of the database during that window. So this particular parameter, auto minor version upgrade enabled, this lets the service upgrade your database instance to the to the latest minor patches which are released by the MySQL. And finally, deletion protection. This is not enabled. This can be changed later. This provides the protection to the database from accidental deletion. Now let's go ahead and choose create database. This will take a couple of minutes, so I will put this video on pause after I hit the create database button. Database is now ready. You can see the endpoint already available here and the port. This endpoint can now be embedded in the application so that applications can interact with the database, provided they are having the proper network connectivity to reach the database instance. So you may need to reconfigure the security group once it is ready. You can take a look at various configuration options which were provided at the time of creation. You can modify any other options if you want to. If you're not happy or not satisfied or your business requirements change, you can choose the modify option and modify some of the configuration parameters which were used initially during the creation of database. Right? So I hope you like this demo and this was helpful for you in getting started with the databases. And thank you for watching this video.